Hi, everybody. This is Brooke, and this is Conversations with Brooke. Today, we're going to talk about the one rule of a cult, and that is the one rule of Fight Club is we don't talk about Fight Club. The one rule of a cult is that you don't talk outside of it to other people, and that's the rule. You know, there is a certain level of loyalty. It's like a very dysfunctional family. So when you're in a family and you have a lot of family issues, there's a lot of loyalty that families will fall into, that you never talk outside of that family to anybody else about what happens inside the family. If there's abuse, if there's trauma, if there's all these different things, if there's sexual abuse, you don't talk about it. Cults are the exact same way. You are not allowed to talk outside of a cult about the cult. You are not allowed to talk about anything that's not positive. So anything that wouldn't be considered something that would help bring people in, you don't discuss. You don't discuss negativity. If somebody brings something, you learn how to skate it. You learn how to talk about it in a positive way. You learn how to put a positive spin on it. And it becomes so ingrained that you don't even realize you're doing it. And people believe you. Like you believe it. So I remember I was visiting a cousin, and it was after I had moved away, but I was still very emotionally tied in. I had left, but I had physically left, but emotionally I hadn't left. And I still didn't have the tools to get out emotionally, because it was like an abusive relationship. As soon as I could, I jumped right back into it. So I was talking to some family. They had known years before that we had joined a commune. And I remember they asked me about it, and I was so defensive. I was defensive of the word. I was defensive of all of it. And looking back now, it's comical, but at the time I was like, oh, well, it's not that. Oh, this is what it is. Oh, and I went into overly explaining everything about it. He's like, oh, okay. I mean, he didn't even really care. I don't think. Maybe he did. But everybody knew, because when we joined that environment, my whole family cut everybody off. Because you can't maintain those relationships and then be in it. That's a really big red flag, and I'm going to talk about in my next video about red flags. But if you can't maintain relationships with family and friends once you've joined any type of religious movement, there's a huge problem with that. Your faith, your families, and the people that you love in your life shouldn't be mutually exclusive. You are allowed to have all of them. And if somebody is pushing you to push those people away, then that's something that you should notice. And at the same time, like I said, if you can't talk about what you do or the faith that you have or even the negative stuff, we all have shit that's not working sometimes. Whether it's relationships, whether it's career, whether it's this. And if you can't have a very an overview of the way that you look at something and you see, yeah, there's all these amazing things, there's these things that we're working on, then you might want to think about that. There was nothing negative we were ever allowed to say. The only negativity was within ourselves and how we were not living up to what the expectations were. There was no flaw in the teaching. The teaching was perfect. We were the flawed ones. It was like, well, it's going really well, but it's just, I'm just keep messing up. It's me. Just need to work on myself more. It's like an abusive relationship or a cult. So, keeping it quick today on this one, but it's an unwritten rule. You don't talk about Fight Club outside of Fight Club. You don't talk about your cult outside of your cult. So hopefully this was an insight for you guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. As always, feel free to get a free life blueprint from 100yearsofbliss.com. And I look forward to connecting with you. Please subscribe to my page and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.